if we look at our ordinary approach to securing well-being, defining well-being, and we can talk about well-being in a broad sense as, this sense of fulfillment, contentment, and so on that we all seem to be searching for as creatures, right? In the myriad ways that we do so. And we do it in lots of ways, right? We try to secure circumstances that we find beneficial, experiences that we equate with a sense of being well, a sense of pleasure, a sense of joy, a sense of happiness, a sense of contentment within ourselves, in our relationships, in our work. This is all very natural, right? But as we also know from having lived the lives that we have, that ordinary kind of human approach to well-being is, at least from the standpoint of securing anything that we might call stable, reliable, lasting well-being, is doomed to fail. Why is it doomed to fail? Because whenever we secure what we equate with what it is we're looking for, fill in the blank, happiness, well-being, in a spiritual context, enlightenment, freedom, and so on, as experiences or as events, phenomenal events, they are going to pass away by the very nature of phenomena, right? The nature of phenomena in a dynamic universe that we appear to be inhabiting is that the phenomena will slip away. This is their nature, to slip away. I mean, you don't have to practice something like meditation for 30 years to discover this. You can just sit for a few seconds and discover it. And just watch your experience, just feel your experience right now, what's being perceived, and feel the way in which it's just constantly slipping away. It's just not holding still, is it? It's dynamic, it's alive. The fire that's burning in your wood stove or your fireplace or your campsite is not showing up and then holding still like that. It's crackling, isn't it? It's constantly shifting, morphing. And our experience is just like that. And no matter how hard we might try to hold on to the well-being that we feel as if we've secured via our various efforts to secure well-being, it will just be snatched away from us, because that's just the nature of life, to keep dying and being reborn as the next instant. I mean, just seeing that is so profound, to feel the reality of that, the undeniability of that transience of moment-to-moment experience. It actually, that by itself is liberating, to see that. And it just cuts through so much of our conventional sort of notions about the stability of phenomena, the continuity of phenomena, whether it's the continuity of experiential phenomena or the continuity of what we think of as our identity. All of it is, its dynamism is just undeniable, irrefutable. And yet we're, often not fully appreciating that, or imagining, and it's all innocent, imagining that, no, I found this, I had this insight, I had this realization, I discovered this way of being with my life that gave me that sense of relief, gave me the sense of ease, the sense of being at home, the sense of peace. Again, the things we tend to universally be looking for. There, I've got it. I kind of figured it out. And maybe we'll even write a book about how to do it, how to secure well-being. I mean, I guess I've written books about that too. However, let's just say that I'm taking a little different angle, or a radically different angle on it, which is, we're not going to find it in the ways we have been taught we're going to find it. In that we're not going to find it in particular experiences and circumstances, which are constantly slipping away, constantly vanishing, right? Because if we're equating the well-being with it looking a certain way that we define as well-being as particular flavors of experience, again, poof, gone, gone, gone. So then this is what we could call the gist, the root of human suffering, right? Which is that we feel as if it's slipped away what it is we're looking for, and then we're going to go on a search for it again, because we're like wired in a sense to find that, it would seem, the drive to find that. And that creates the sense of unease, of not at homeness, of incompleteness, of lack, of dissatisfaction, even if in the subtlest of ways, right? So if everything's coming and going, and there's no securing of well-being in that which is constantly coming and going, because again, it's going to go, right? And it may come back, and it does come back seemingly, and then it goes away again. And then we're like, oh my God, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, how many spiritual retreats have I been on in my life where I would say I could boil down the questions quite simply, like, oh my God, I had this most amazing experience, seeing clarity, seeing the oneness of everything, feeling complete, the deepest peace I've ever experienced. And then it went away. How do I get it back? That's the question. That is the question. In all the different forms that question can take. How can I get it back? I mean, that we've explored that in these calls over these many months that I've been doing them, really kind of since the beginning of the crazy pandemic. So yeah, so is it possible to find a well-being that doesn't come and go? And the answer is yes. But it's not, in a way, it's not really a definable well-being. It's a well-being that's found, strangely enough, in the indefinable nature of everything. The indefinable nature of everything, you could say, is just the raw sense of what's here, the presence of what's here, which has no story, it has no definition, it has no description. It doesn't negate the descriptions and the definitions that are appearing, but this fundamentally transcends the definitions and descriptions, and that can be discovered. Sometimes that, and I talk about this all the time, finding the doorway into discovering this well-being that doesn't come and go is by discovering what is common about all experience, right? Because then it doesn't matter that things are coming and going, because something remains, something is always present. You could say the basis, the common fundamental basis of everything, because that, again, isn't coming and going. It underlies all the coming and going. So I just mentioned one, you could say, common denominator of all the flavors of life coming and going is their ultimate indefinable, inconceivable, unresolvable nature. That can sometimes feel less accessible somehow, or like it takes more work to discover that, which I can appreciate. So this morning, I just wanted to invite us into, I think, a really simple way of discovering what's common about all experience, which is just the fact that it is. We could call it the beingness of experience. Everything is. Everything that appears experientially, what's appearing right now, no matter how it's being characterized, what's, we could say, most basic about it is that it is appearing, that it's here, that it's showing up, that it's actual in the sense of its appearance, in the sense of its having showed up. It's here, it's present. So notice right now, there's this constant, undeniable, as I was saying, sense of the flavors and moods and qualities and textures of moment-to-moment experience. The dynamism of that is just astonishing, isn't it? Just this constant, ever-shifting flow of qualities and characteristics since we've been sitting here. Here for an instant and then gone, and here for an instant and then gone. It's coming and going. It's the tidal nature of this kind of coming in and going out and coming in and going out, just this ceaseless unfolding of the moment, the ceaseless becoming of the moment. We may try to grasp hold of, there it is, and then it becomes something else. Slips right through our fingers like sand through the hourglass. But the being is like, in music, it's like in Indian classical music, it's like the drone. The drone just keeps playing that fifth on the tambura, the Indian instrument, while the other instruments are doing their wild, melodic improvisations, beautiful, the flutes and the sitars, and then the drone just keeps droning. The drone of the hum, I call it the hum of being. Feel the hum of being right now. It's relentless. It never comes and goes. It appears as all that we might call coming and going. It appears as all the changing flavors and moods. But it always simply is. That is never absent. The beingness of the moment is never absent. Feel, as undeniable as the coming and going is, so is the constancy of the beingness, isn't it? When is that ever absent? A moment where we feel like the presence of being in touch with the presence of the moment slips away, that is a moment of presence. That is what's present. You're noticing awareness. You're doing a practice. I'm noticing awareness. Awareness is here. Awareness is here. And then it feels like you just lose it somehow. And you're off identifying in some stream of thinking. Presence hasn't been lost. The presence of what is can't be lost by definition, because it is what is. And what is the soul constancy, we could say. The hum, the drone. This is the stability. This is what doesn't come and go. This is the root. Let yourself be rooted in that. Feel that you are rooted in that. That the root, because the root doesn't go away, there's really no rooting oneself in it. We could say what you are is the root. Everything about us is coming and going. Our personalities ever changing, our bodies ever changing, our neurochemistry ever changing, our likes and dislikes, and I mean everything, right? It's just this How many different identities have we held through the course of this life stream, right? But all the while, the thread of being threaded through everything, appearing as everything. So our emphasis in our search for well-being tends to be on how is this appearing, and is this well-being, and is this what I want, and am I going to be, is this going to benefit me or maybe harm me? That's our normal, like, what is appearing? What is appearing? This constant kind of even subtle, like, is it what I want? Is it right? Is this what I'm looking for? So just relax that habit for a moment of what is appearing and the way that's being defined, and just enjoy the sheer fact that anything is appearing. That's this potent, ever-present beingness, the fact of what's appearing, not what's appearing, but the fact of the appearing itself. It's like not what the show is playing, what the movie is that's playing. Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Is it a horror show? Is it a cataclysmic, dystopian end of the world movie? Or is it the most blissful, beautiful love story? Just appreciate that there is a movie playing, if you will, that there is a life stream flowing as all of this, somehow, miraculously. The projector of life streaming forth as this. And of course, we're not merely somehow separate from what's appearing, looking at it. We are what's appearing. We are part of we're in the movie that's playing. We are appearing like everything else, no different in that sense. We are another of its glorious, mysterious appearances. The appearance of this moment is potent. It's pure energy, isn't it? And unthinkable intelligence in the appearance, no matter its apparent description and flavor. And this can't be lost. This is the well of being, I call it. It's like the other well-being. This is the well-being that can't be taken away from you. Because it is you. It is everything. It is the basis of everything. The fact of its being, the fact of its pure presence, its pure existence. And everything shares this. All the phenomena share this in common. Their root of existence. The miracle of their existence. Miracle in the sense of it's just here inexplicably. Phenomena are just here inexplicably. What is the explanation for? I mean, we could try to go backwards in time and figure out how this moment arrived, but the moment's just here. Life is just here. I mean, no matter how far back, if we want to play the historical game, how far back you want to go for some explanation of how this moment is here. There was some explosion where nothing became something called the Big Bang. I mean, you could make that sort of materialistic argument, and that's fine, but that doesn't really explain how that came about. Something came out of nothing. Wow, that's amazing. You have to, of course, discover this. One has to discover this for themselves. I mean, my saying it, this is somehow in the constancy of beingness, is this well of being, that this transcendental well-being that doesn't come and go, transcends all the descriptions and definitions that can sound very maybe compelling or maybe crazy or however it may sound, but but it can be discovered by exploring the presence or existence aspect of phenomena, not merely orienting to the descriptions, but orienting to the sheer existence of what's here. And in that, one can discover that the circumstances, the states that we imagined to be problematic and evidence that well-being had disappeared somehow and had to be retrieved, are actually the very flow of well-being itself, of this well of being. You take like a state like sadness or uncertainty or insecurity, these descriptions of states that we would not equate with well-being. They are, from the perspective of beingness itself, the existence of them, that they are a shining forth, they are an emanation, they are the upwelling of reality. They are its expression, aren't they? And in that very appearing is this incredible potency and vitality and aliveness, actually, and benefit. This is again, to come back, just to say this, and then I'll open it up for some discussion, that this is the shift from ordinary human orientation, that sort of life is happening like objectively to me, the subject. So it's happening to me, my circumstances and our experiences are happening to me. And then some of them are interpreted as beneficial, some of them as harmful potentially, or threatening or confusing, right? That's just how we tend to live our lives. And there's nothing wrong with that perspective, and it's arguably, adaptive, and it's from within its frame of reference. But this other perspective is very distinct, very, very different. It's not that life is happening to me, it's that what I am is simply an expression of life. It's completely different. As Alan Watts used to say, we imagine we were born into the world, that we came into the world, like subjects coming into an objective world, right? Organisms coming, but we came out of the world. We are the world in expression. We are the cosmos in expression, ultimately inseparable from that, just as the waves of the sea are as expressions of the ocean are inseparable from the ocean. They are the ocean's expression. And that vantage on our moment-to-moment experience is so different. It's such a different way to encounter the moments of our lives. And this perspective of the beingness of you orienting to the existence of what's here rather than its description is one way to encounter this perspective, to feel it, to feel life in that way.